Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for part two. In any case, we're going to move on to the last, I think, Pokemon on the chopping block in this case. It's been on so many lists. Not a lot of people like it, but say hello, everyone, to Mr. Mime.
Jeez, Mr. Mime.
I'm sorry, but I don't want to apply a gender to this thing simply because I don't know how to think of it in terms of a gender.
I think,
And while I don't want to say anything bad about it, I can't even say anything about it.
I mean, I think the difference there is that, mimes are male in culture. They're a French actor. And I think that that's a cultural difference in terms of where the inspiration was drawn. I don't think Mr. Mime is, I don't think it's male
I
or
mean, when
female
you think
character,
of it,
really.
when you look at it, do you think boy or girl at first?
I think neither. I think neither. Like, nothing. Like a legendary Pokemon. It doesn't have a gender to me. Mr.
Well,
Mime is a force. That's all it is.
unfortunately, Mr. Mime has a 50-50 gender ratio.
Yeah. So I'm sad they
my
didn't program
goodness.
it so female Mr. Mimes come out as Mrs. Mimes. That'd be funny.
Yes, well, unfortunately, people's... Oh my goodness. A lot of people don't like Mr. Mime simply because it looks so humanoid.
Yeah.
It looks like a human in a clown costume, in my opinion. I don't know how this could be a Pokemon, but yeah, that's what people say. It's Generation 1 people. Nobody complains about Mr. Mime, and if they do, their voices aren't nearly that loud. Simply because this is probably a Generation 1, and everyone who grew up with Generation 1, they kind of liked those Pokemon. Simply because they were the first ones along.
Yeah. Might be worth the argument too. There's a lot of those designs in Pokemon the first generation. I mean, they didn't have genders programmed into the game except for Nidoran.
Yeah, so that people could let their imaginations run wild. They could pretend they could technically pick whatever gender they wanted simply by their names. I mean, say you got a Charizard in red or blue, and you wanted to name it Elizabeth. Well, you could name it Elizabeth, because it didn't have a gender at the time.
I think that might be the big difference as well that's applying to this issue, is that especially, with the Nuzlocke culture and, the internet and whatnot, a lot of people nowadays, and especially in the Pokemon fandom, like the really strong fans, they nickname their Pokemon. So that's a big deal.
Yeah, I nicknamed my Pokemon as well.
Yeah. So if any player, gets, say they get a male Popplio, I mean, they're going to want to nickname it, Glamora or something, and then it's like, oh, it's a male, like, blah, blah, what can I do? But, there's some people who do the Nuzlocke thing, and they get, to be like me.
They'll be attached to their Pokemon, regardless of gender.
I mean, I got stuck with my male Gardevoir, and I think I named him Stan. And I'm like, yeah, Stan, you're the most beautiful Gardevoir. Get out there and kick some butt. It was great. Shout out to Stan.
Oh, shout out to the male Gardevoirs out there named Stan.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's all I really have to say on that.
That's all you have to say on Mr. Mime.
Yeah, that's all I have to say on Mr. Mime.
Alright, moving right along with this here little debate. We're approaching the end, and I think we may be going over our 20-minute mark. I'm not sure. I lost track. But in any case, the real issue here is why do you think, in your opinion, why do you think Brionne and Popplio's evolution line is just getting so much negativity? I mean, the final evolution hasn't even been released yet. I mean, why are people getting so angry over this happy little clown, this happy little sea lion clown Pokemon that goes into like a pop star Pokemon? What did these two deserve to get so much hate?
I think it goes back to what I said earlier, where it was comparable design. So Owlet and Litten being the much stronger of the three. I mean, objectively looking at their designs and, the actual, concept, I feel like, the two of them are stronger. And just because of that, people are having these adverse reactions to them. They're not as uniform as past, designs, whether they're male or female or otherwise. And for the most part, I mean, Froakie wasn't particularly strong, but his evolutions were quite strong. I think Froakie and Frogadier share in the same boat as Popplio and Brionne. I mean, I don't think they're great designs either, but the final evolution of Greninja was an excellent design, like an incredible design. So honestly, I don't know if the hate's completely warranted. It might change when the final evolution's released, but I think that, despite all the hate, there's going to be people who are like you, and they're going to love them unconditionally otherwise. And I think that's, the big end thing here. I mean, people love Garbodor. I love Golurk, and people say it's the ugliest thing they've ever seen, and it insults me because he's perfect.
But now it's all right. Remember, keep a level head here. Yeah. Somewhat.
But, there's I mean, seeing designs, I mean, especially for like starters and stuff, seeing designs that kind of go off the side of being uniform and that kind of really like in-depth, like I think that the evolution of the owl is genius. Like whoever designed that, like A+, and it's a very strong design, but at the same time, I mean, there's Pokemon out there that are weaker design. I mean, look at Seal and Dugong. Like, look at those Pokemon from the first generation. They are so weak when it comes to design, but they're still loved. And they're universally loved. And I think that's going to offset it once the game's released and once everything's said and done. As for the hate prior, I mean, I think it's just people, being like, this cat's cool, this owl's cool, this Seal is meh. And it's just kind of, that emotion is kind of maybe turned into like hate,
Alright, then we're going to move on to our next thing. The next thing is, once again, we're continuing with the Brionne. Now I'm going to send you a link. Obviously, everyone out there is going to probably see it as well. But it's basically just scroll down until you see like the tweets and comments people have made across the internet and such concerning poor little Brionne. I mean, I'll give you like a minute or so just to take a quick peek at all those comments while I talk about what I'm saying. Several news people like Kotaku and such have talked about, Brionne and how its feminine, how Popplio's feminine evolution is, bothering some of them. And again, people are saying it's too girly for the evolution line. I mean, what's the poor little Pokemon gotta do to win some love?
People gotta pull sticks out of their butt and stop being stupid. Because
we're speaking about sticks out of their butts. I mean, we already have a Pokemon that does. No, I mean, we have a Pokemon that has a stick in its butt.
Fair enough. But,
talk about you, Braixen. I'm talking about that tail. I mean, y'all know what that tail's hiding.
Here, where, I mean, the ones that are just like, oh, she looks really girly. I mean, those are people being, like, very close-minded. I mean, there's one that says this is another Gardevoir. Oh, God. I mean, I think a lot of the concerns for some of these people are, like, over-sexualizing the actual Pokemon themselves. Maybe might be a concern. But at the same time, I think a lot of people are just having issues with design because it's just not a good design, whether it's female or not. I mean, like, Braixen, female or not, was a great design, and Brionne looks odd. Its eyes, I still can't get over the eyes. They're just, I don't know. They need help, but I don't know. And I feel like a few of these people, it's the internet.
The poor little Popplio. What has poor little Popplio deserved? Just to talk about its little backstory. The one thing Brionne has going for it, at least in this case, is that no matter what people are going to say about it, no matter how much the internet bashes it, Brionne is never going to let the internet, and I have to applaud this Pokemon for that, it's never going to let the internet see it sad. It's never going to let anyone see it sad.
See, I have some younger female family members, and I know that they're gonna pick this in a heartbeat. Like they would love this design. It's not for everyone. That's basically the bottom line. It's not for everyone. I don't think. I mean, to hate a design strictly for having feminine elements to it. I mean, like look at Sylveon. Sylveon's a great Pokemon that has a lot of feminine elements, and it was accepted very quickly.
I'm glad you brought out Sylveon. I mean, hey, look, there's Sylveon on screen. This thing has pink ribbons! Pink ribbons!
I think it's just composition. I don't think
it's... And the fun fact, Eevee and all of the evolutions are 87.5 male. And this thing is screaming female. In fact, a lot of them scream female. I mean, you look at Glaceon, it looks like a girl. You look at...
Don't you be hating on my male?
I'm not hating on the evolutions. I'm saying it looks like a girl.
It's weird because I think that's definitely a perspective thing. Because I don't consider Glaceon to seem female at all because all the Glaceons I've ever had have been male, and I've given them male names. I have Joe the Glaceon, and ever since then, I can't even consider Glaceon female at all. Like, it's weird. I mean, that's what can kind of change the perspective. Maybe I'll go in and name my Popplio Dennis. And then suddenly that perspective might change. I mean, Dennis maybe won't be defined by the fact that he's wearing 3 tutus, but other than that, but he's able.
He'll be a pop star.
Yeah, or be a pop star, K-pop star. So,
yeah, and then we're gonna go back into Brionne's little backstory, or at least its description. The one thing that Brionne definitely does have going for it, I talked about it earlier, is that it's never going to show its sadness to the internet. It's never going to let anyone see it sad. However, it will show its sadness to its trainer. I mean, and even then, it will only show that sadness to its trainer if it truly trusts them. So you gotta feel some pity for the little Pokemon. I mean, the people who don't like it, they're gonna hate it, they're not gonna like it, they're not gonna pick it. But to those who do like it, and they're definitely gonna pick it, they're the only ones that Popplio and Brionne are definitely gonna, appreciate. They're the only ones who will appreciate Brionne, in my opinion, for the Pokemon that it is. But that's probably my opinion, and this is a debate, and we're talking about the gender things. So I think we're starting to run out of time. So we'll wrap this.
All I really have to say on the
we'll
matter.
wrap this up with 2 last opinions, and you'll answer the question. In any case, the question is: do you think the hate for Brionne's gender appearance bias is warranted, or do you think the internet is just being the internet over apparently a Pokemon that is too girly to be a starter? And we have
the latter. The internet's being the internet. No one's ever going to be content with everything, and I mean, on such a global format, that's just going to happen.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to say the same thing. I mean, people are getting uptight over a Pokemon that is too girly, and yet, let's see, we have a very feminine Pokemon in Generation 2. I'm looking at Bayleaf. Generation 3, I don't think we had many feminine Pokemon in Generation 3.
Torchic and Blaziken, those long legs. Come on.
Alright, we're gonna look at Blaziken for Generation 3, I guess. Generation 4... Let's see, were there any feminine-looking Pokemon that the internet hated? Nothing's...
That one was very neutral.
Yeah, no one's been... I don't see any there. Let's see, Generation 5... Let's see, did we have any in Generation 5?
Well, we had Serpentveria or whatever.
Superior, but again, it can be either.
Yeah.
And then we come to Generation 6, we have the Fennekin line.
Mm-hmm.
Fennekin into Braixen, into Delphox, into Rule 34 of the internet.
Jesus.
I'm not gonna go there. I'm sorry, but I have to bring that up because I have to look at all the facts, and the internet exploded over it. Well, in a positive way at least, but no one thought about it in a negative way. now suddenly everyone hates poor Brionne. Poor Brionne. Don't worry, Brionne. Some of us like you.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the difference. I mean, people are going to pick her. Or him, whatever. One or the other.
People will pick Popplio regardless of the other two.
Yeah. I mean, the people I've seen who love Popplio, like, they love Popplio. I don't know if you're a Game Grumps watcher at all. But Aaron Hansen, Egoraptor, he actually discussed the new starters, and he just, like, he was gushing about how much he loved Popplio.
Yeah, because Popplio is this cute little sea lion. What's not to love about him? And yet he gets the short end of the stick when it comes to the internet. He gets the short end of the like stick and the big end of the dislike stick when it comes to, well, I think I just mentioned it, dislike.
I don't know. I think that's going to be the balance up, but I'm afraid I have to run now. But
it's no problem, Monty. And once again, I want to thank you again for joining us here on Tactical Debate. Tune in next time, ladies and gentlemen, as I bring in yet another friend to discuss this issue. I think we still have more to talk about. Probably someone who doesn't know as much about Pokemon, who can probably offer their opinion on this issue. So once again, thank you all for joining me. Monty, again, I thank you again for, giving me about half an hour of your time, which is probably 12 minutes over what I wanted to do. So once again, thank you.
No problem.
And I will see you all next time on Tactical Debate. Bye-bye!